Hey, how you doing? DecepySwag here, and SNK may have just revealed what their plans are for the future of the Art of Fighting franchise without anyone realizing it, and from what I've gathered, I can tell you it involves Gai Tendo and the events of Rookie 1. But today we're going to be tackling three main points: Mr. Karate's arcade mode, why Ryo not being Mr. Karate makes perfect sense, and finally Gai Tendo being the only correct choice for becoming the new pro tag of the series. But before we get into that theory crafting, if you're new and would like to see more SNK content, then please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and don't forget to tap that bell icon. To get the answers for what SNK has planned for the Art of Fighting franchise, we first have to look at their latest Fatal Fury title, and that's City of the Wolves, and their most recent DLC addition, Mr. Karate. From the very moment of his initial reveal for Season 2, many folks had questions about how and why Robert got the mantle of Mr. Karate before Ryo. For the uninitiated, the original holder of the Mr. Karate name was Takuma Sakazaki, Ryo and Yuri's father, which for years and years led many to believe that someday next in line to become Mr. Karate would be Ryo, yet that isn't the case in City of the Wolves. After playing Robert's arcade mode, we learned of a particular mission imparted on him by Takuma to obtain the ultimate technique of Kyokugen. At Kyokugen's core is the philosophy of self-mastery. When one reaches the peak of their potential, it is said a secret art is revealed to them. As intrigued as Robert was, he had a big issue. He's the head and face of the Garcia Foundation, as well as an instructor at the Kyokugen Dojo. He couldn't be seen running around fighting people in pursuit of this technique. Yet, this is where things takes an interesting turn. Takuma himself is the one who gives Robert a Mr. Karate mask to hide his identity, so that he may have the ability to go about his mission of enlightenment freely. Which, by the way, I just want to say, I love the fact that in the SNK universe, if you just put on the karate mask, for no reason, people just don't know it's you. I just love that. I just want to keep the bit going with that. That's great. But when you think about it, it does make sense for Robert to have the mask instead of Ryo. See, in the original Art of Fighting, Takuma wore the mask to hide his identity from anyone knowing it was him being forced to work for Mr. Big. He didn't want his children to see that or anyone seeing him work with a literal mob boss. This time the idea is the same with Robert, except in his case, he's an extremely famous and wealthy figure that can't afford to be seen running around with his Kyokugen shenanigans. Henceforth, we get a new Mr. Karate, aka Robert Garcia, or as I like to call him, Karate Garcia. Unfortunately, that still begs the question and some frustration from many of you watching, why couldn't it have been Ryo instead? For years, fans have wanted to see the Invincible Dragon don the mask and take on the mantle of Mr. Karate. And the simple fact is what I mentioned earlier, Robert and Takuma had reasons to hide their identity. Ryo doesn't. See, Ryo, as I said, has no reason to truly wear the mask and go about as Mr. Karate, but I'm sure there are folks typing as we speak right now furiously that he has in fact carried the name and the mask in different titles, games like Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, The King of Fighters Maximum Impact 2, and of course Rookie 1. However, there is something that all of these games have in common, and something that many in the SNK community probably never realized, nor myself, and that's none of these games are canon that Ryo takes on the name of Mr. Karate. This revelation was explained by SNK Community's own Radar ADV on their Twitter. I'll make sure to link the Twitter thread for you to check it out. Go support them. Radar in this thread explains that in every single game Ryo has had the title of Mr. Karate, none of those games were canon, meaning Ryo was never Mr. Karate in the main timeline. He explains that even in the case of Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, Mr. Karate has two profiles in the Japan-only book all about SNK fighting games 1991 through 2000, and in it has both Ryo and Takuma listed as the two profiles under the name Mr. Karate. However, Wild Ambition is non-canon, it's an alternate timeline of the first game. Again, all this is to say that in regards to Robert taking on the Mr. Karate persona and not Ryo, it actually makes sense within the confines of the story. Regardless if Ryo is seen as the poster boy of the franchise, Ryo has nothing to hide. Kyokugen and martial arts is him, it is Ryo. He eats, sleeps, breathes martial arts, constantly training and in search of higher heights. Which leads us to our third topic and the core of this entire video and my argument. That SNK is hinting at the idea of the future of this series moving forward with Gai Tendo as the main character. In a previous video I discussed how SNK has been setting us up for the new era of their big four pro tags with their fighting game franchises. That being Shunei for the King of Fighters franchise, Yashamaru of the Samurai Shodown franchise, and of course Rock Howard for the Fatal Fury franchise. And in this video I suggested that the character to carry on the Art of Fighting flag into the new age was none other than Gai Tendo of Rookie 1. Now you can imagine the reception this got when the video went live and folks heard my idea. Many believe that it wasn't a good idea and that the games should be focused on Ryo, Robert, Yuri, or any of the classic art of fighting characters. I even had people suggesting Marco, that the story is and should be tied to the Sakazaki family as it is them who started it all, and I don't refute that fact. The story of these 3 games do in fact revolve around the family and everyone connected to them. However, I don't agree with that being the reason it should stay that way moving forward, and I think that SNK feels the same as I do. See, the ironic thing about all of this is that the reason Gai Tendo will become the new protagonist is going to be because of Ryo himself. Remember that scene at the end of Robert's arcade mode where he's standing at the cliff thinking about what he's learned in his pursuit for the ultimate technique, and Ryo appears and they fight. Something I didn't mention earlier is that Robert wasn't the only person Takuma spoke to about this technique. He also spoke to Ryo as well. And when we see Ryo, what is he wearing? A tatted up black gi, just like the one he's wearing in Baruki 1 tournament. I believe that what happened is while Robert was in Southtown finding his answers to reach that higher level while wearing the Mr. Karate mask, Ryo was at the same time in Japan participating in the Baruki 1 tournament. This would explain why he was in Japan in the first place when he was talking to Marco in Marco's ending arcade. In it, Ryo only said he was in Japan but never gave an explanation why, and then proceeded to make Marco the new head of Kyokugen Dojo. Transition to Robert's arcade ending, and he's returned to Southtown wearing his black gi. Robert fought Marco and came to some enlightenment mid-battle about what the ultimate technique could be, or at least felt like he had a better lead. Who's to say that Ryo didn't have the same idea of finding the answers by being a part of an intense battle? And what better place to do so than a tournament with fighters all across Japan and the world, the Baruki 1 tournament? So we got the motive for Ryo being in Japan as well as potential explanation for his wardrobe change. All that's left, however, is connecting the dots of how Ryo's being there causes Gai Tendo to become the new protagonist. And I have an answer for that as well. Gai Tendo is a talented fighter, extremely skilled, but he's still young, brash, and inexperienced. Him going against someone that is the very opposite like Ryo in a tournament would be what set him on his path as the face of art of fighting. Imagine, these 2 fighters meet each other in the ring and Gai is giving it his all trying to take down Ryo, but nothing works because of the extreme gap between them. Ryo beats him but does so in a way that inspires Gai to want to improve as a fighter. He would see Ryo as the mountain worth climbing and one day surpassing. This would send Gai on a journey across all of Japan and the rest of the world, fighting martial artists of all shapes and sizes, all in the name of learning the art of fighting. It's right in our faces. Yes, for a long time the series has been focused on Sakazaki family and everyone's adjacent, but it's time for a change, and a plotline like this would be amazing for the series, because at the end of the day, the title is everything. The art of fighting. Gai Tendo would truly embody this series at its core. Think of Vegeta fighting Kaba in Dragon Ball Super, showing him that there's a level even beyond Super Saiyan and to one day surpass him. Or even more appropriate, look at the Baki series, something that many tie Gai Tendo to. Baki himself traveled and trained all around the world in the efforts to become strong enough to defeat his father Yujiro Hanma, who is seen as the strongest person alive on Earth. SNK could take the same idea and apply it to Gai and Ryo. Ryo could be Gai's ultimate goal, his mission. Gai, as I said, is the very opposite of Ryo in every way. Ryo is calm, Gai is brash. Ryo is disciplined, Gai is noisy, hot-headed even. But Gai, at the end of the day, is a true fighter at his core, in his heart of hearts, the same as Ryo. That kinship is what will connect them. Ryo would see something in him. He would see the potential of Gai as a part of the next generation of fighters and want to inspire him to one day be strong enough to challenge him again. Ryo has already obtained a master level in his martial arts. Robert as well, with him being the head of the Garcia Foundation. Marco's story has essentially come to a conclusion with him becoming the new head of Kyokugen Dojo, and Yuri has her fitness gym. Every one of these characters has had their own personal journeys essentially wrapped up to some degree, so it wouldn't make much sense for SNK to just pluck one of them to be the face of the franchise moving forward. Not at least at the expense of the story, just to come up with a reason for them to be the face. It just wouldn't make sense, it'd be weird. No, Gai Tendo is the answer and only correct answer for moving forward as the face. Playstyle is fun, many people enjoy him, and crazy enough with his popularity, you would think he's been featured in a ton of SNK games, but as I said in that video I mentioned earlier, you'd be wrong. He's only appeared in playable games such as Baruki 1 and King of Fighters 11. But hey, who knows? I could be wrong about all of this and SNK goes in a completely different direction. But what I do know is we hit that part of the video where I love to ask you all my favorite question, and that's, what are your thoughts? Do you like my explanation of how Gai Tendo will become the new face of the Art of Fighting series? And if not, tell me why. Do you have an alternative pick to be the new face of the series? And let me know if you ever played the Art of Fighting games at all. Comment down below and I'll try to get back to you. SNK has the potential to do some wild things with this series, and if Mr. Karai's gameplay in Fatal Fury is any indication, we would be in for a great treat. Thank you all for watching. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes. Always appreciate it. Till next time on DecepySwag. Later.